this is probably a follow-up to a previous video I put out about this same topic. Elliot Wilson gives his side after B.Dot blamed him for Rap Radar not returning. And he breaks down how the deal didn't materialize. So on the Joe Budden Podcast, B.Dot basically said he blamed Joe for the new character that Elliot has taken on, this new persona where he's this antagonist. They showed the clip. I showed the clip. But also he talked about how that Rap Radar deal fell through because Elliot was taking so long going back and forth with the negotiations to the point where they just walked away and said, yo, fuck it. We're going to put this money into something else. Let's watch the clip. Let's see what Elliot had to say. While wearing the JBP hoodie that I'm pretty sure he purchased, Joe ain't give him one for free.
Told him my idea about Rap Radar as a website, and I hired him. Paul Rosenberg hired him officially, my partner, and we ran Rap Radar website from 2008 to 2017. We started the podcast, which was B.Dot's idea because I was like, I didn't want to do the podcast because there's a combat jack, there's all these other things. They're going to say Elliot's coming into the podcast market and trying to bully everybody and I'm the bad guy again. But B.Dot's like, this is the future of podcasting. I'm like, all right, let's do it. So we did it from 2015 to whatever. So, you know, the one time I don't come through and the deal falls through, it's like I'm the bad guy. I tried to make the deal happen. The deal fell apart. I take accountability because the deal didn't happen. So that's it. Why would I not reach out? I figured he's mad at me because the deal didn't work out. Like, yo, how you feel? You know, like how I didn't make that deal not happen? Like it's on him. I haven't ducked one phone call, one text, one reach out to me. As my grandma said, the phone works both ways. So I wasn't trying to make no statement by not speaking to B.Dot. I continue to assert that if we're able to get a new deal for Rap Radar, we'll go back to doing the interviews. We'll miss a beat. It'll be back to what it was. We know what to do. We're two great journalists. We know how to prepare for interviews. We still have great chemistry, and that's what's going on. The final thing, this idea that Elliot got influenced by Joe Budden. Joe Budden did influence me, him and Ian Schwartzman, to join Patreon. So what happens is we launched that like early 2023. Joe Budden is one of our first guests where he has the thing where he's pushing me to be more self-branding. So in September of that, while I'm still doing Rap Radar, I launched Elliot Wilson Experience on Patreon. I do a couple episodes there. I'm still doing Rap Radar podcast. We have the Tyler the Creator interview, all these other great moments after this Joe Budden changing Elliot thing happened. And we did that till the end of 2023. So I already started doing my own thing, and now Elliot Wilson Experience is about to come back again, you know, funded by Rock Nation for a season 2, but outside of Patreon. I wasn't getting the results that I wanted from Patreon the way Joe Budden had, so I stopped doing it. But that's what I was influenced to do at that time, at that situation. So,
all right, so he just said a lot in those last 2 minutes. He basically said, he didn't try to not call. Basically, he was just like, yo, hey, man, the deal fell through. I didn't think it was necessary to call B.Dot like, hey, bro, how you feel, man? You see that deal ain't go through? Yeah, I know. We fucked it up, right? Yeah, my boy, let's go get a brew. I mean, that's not a conversation you want to have, but he also did say, hey, man, and B.Dot confirmed this. He never spoke out or reached to the nigga. Reached out or spoke to the nigga. So I understand, like, if that conversation isn't had, what do you expect Elliot to do? I understand that, because I've been in both sides of that shit. But I also understand B.Dot like, hey, man, I probably never even really fuck with you like that. We did good business, but, man, personally, we didn't really rock like that, so I don't think I owed you any conversation at all. But to then go out on another platform and talk about it and seemingly blame Elliot, that's some foul shit.
And as far as my opinion, as people may know, Everyday Struggle originally was supposed to be me and Joe Budden. I stepped out. It became Academic's platform to shine. That show would have been my first time having a platform where I give my opinion about things, where I'm not relying on guests, where I tell people how I feel about things. Uncut, raw honesty. That didn't happen. Now, when we create the bigger picture, this is now my platform to do that. So you get a lot more of that from me. So maybe you're not used to that, but that's what this is on, because this is the world we're in, where it's now about more commentary about these artists and not having the access to them, as we've said ad nauseum, that we once had. So now you get a little bit more of how Elliot actually feels. And you see me express my frustrations about the state of the game. I feel Rap Radar deserves to have a good, reasonable, sizable deal in the marketplace. It's not existing right now. And I think people say the podcast boom is over. They say it's a streamer's boom, but nobody's funding anybody to even have a chance to create streams or become a good streamer. We're only celebrating the independent people that made their fortunes and they're in a place. But I feel like, who's backing these new creators? Where are the deals for young podcasters, young streamers? Where is the money? You know,
I'm not gonna lie, the more and more I hear this man talk, I usually don't agree with anything this nigga says or fuck with him, but he's making a lot of sense. He is basically saying there are deals out there, like that podcast boom where niggas was getting these major deals, $1 million deals for shows. Spotify was throwing out money to Michelle Obama. These people, this Katy Perry got a podcast. and them shits failed and flopped because nobody really cared about them personally. They just was a name and a face that existed. To where now the medium is slightly shifting, and still podcasts exist, obviously, but you don't really see it being funded by bigger corporations or someone that is coming in and providing the money for a streamer. Anytime you find out about a streamer right now, these niggas are already like super successful, which, you know what I mean? I just started, so I'm not going to discredit anybody's come up. But it seems very fast because you just see like one clip from them, then another clip, and then now you got like one of the biggest rappers on your goddamn stream. It's like, yo, damn. But when you realize they've been putting in the work for so many years, that's just like lightning getting struck in a bottle. It's not that they worked to a place and then collaborated and partnered up with somebody. They already were in the zeitgeist. They existed already. So I kind of agree with him. We don't see this next second wave of deals being given out to different people. You damn near got to do it on your own. You got to be independent.
It's frustrating. So you see that. And I think that sometimes I lead with some of the toxic parts of me of just this competitive, sometimes jealousy shit, and you get that side of it, and that's what's reflective.
Well, I had a question.
But I wonder how you guys feel.
Well, the one thing I did want to say about
it's only waves, man. It's
Elliot
only
Wilson
waves.
as a persona, I think. I mean, I haven't known you that long as a person individually, but from what I've seen, even looking back, like you were always that guy at XXL. You were always writing editorials. You were always puffing your chest up. I think that this is the first time that people are seeing you give your opinion on camera on a consistent basis, and that competitive fire and spirit that you never run away from, and you're very open about. You want to be the best. You still want to be at the top of your game. So I think that might be jarring to some people. I'm surprised that was jarring to B.Dot because you guys have known each other for a really long time. So that's where I felt like there was a disconnect. Like, maybe something happened with that Joe thing, or like I guess I
think it's more that he doesn't agree about it. Look, we both have a great rapport with Drake, so I'm sure he's still cool with Drake. Drake doesn't love how I'm moving, right? So you know, and other people he speaks to. So I think he probably doesn't agree with some of that. He has the right to feel that way. He doesn't agree with some of the things I'm doing, and like he said, he does catch heat. You guys catch heat sometimes, I'm sure, from me. Or like if you work with somebody, you kind of not inherit their beef, but you inherit some of the drama that may come that way. So I think it's more about him not agreeing with some of the takes I've had and how he's being impacted by it.
Wow. Who would have thought? You gotta always hear both sides, man. I'm not gonna lie. I appreciate how Elliot is responding and handling this. You would have thought that with this quote unquote persona that they try to put on him, that he was gonna come back and lash out and try to, come with the Kanye takes, go overboard with what he's saying. But it's definitely not that. So he does seem honest in what he's talking about. I'm kind of rolling. I'm rolling.
Which is fair.
Yeah,
to him,
that's fair.
Express his frustration.
And then the other really big question that I had was just about the actual deal, without getting into like super specifics. I guess afterward, A, like, was there something specific you didn't like about the deal? And then B, how did it end after that? For example, like let's say we were all working on a show together and we were trying to get a deal done, and then let's say the deal doesn't happen. Like I would assume the way it ends is us still like trying to make it happen.
Here's a brief version. Let's take it back. So I have a lawyer. I'm not gonna say specific companies because I don't put business out there like that. Lawyer from a real big firm. Like I tend to work with junior people from big firms, right? I'm not the level of stardom where I got the A-list person from the A-list agency. So I have a lawyer from a big firm, but the junior person from that firm, junior agent on a big firm. So when we first went to open market, the first deal we got, those people helped us get the Interval Warner Brothers deal. We shopped it to the open market, and that was the most receptive. So we did the deal. They got the deal done. So I give all credit to them. They took us to market. We gave them the tools. We got that offer from Warner that was starting a podcast division. We did a deal, I guess, 2021, and they ran to 2023, and then they shut the company down. So that entity, outside of me and outside of my relationships or B.Dot's relationships, got us that deal. So now that ends. We go back to open market. A partner that we were going to possibly do a deal with to connect to the first deal, when that first fell through, comes back around and says, now we're free agents. Let's talk about doing a deal. And the back and forth between my team and their team just didn't work out. Like language and contracts and stuff. Like you think you agree to a certain term and then you get the contract back and it's not reflective. Like tedious things like that. It wasn't about the money. The money was kind of solid of what it was going to be. But it was more about that and that communication. So looking back at it, I feel there may have been even some resistance within that company where some people were on board with the deal and some people probably weren't. But I still take responsibility.
All right, so he said a lot right there. Let's kind of talk about it a little bit. Basically, so how B.Dot made it seem on the pod, on Joe Budden Pod, he just said, yo, it was just a lot of back and forth with Elliot and the contract and this and that. He didn't speak specifically because he probably didn't know the specifics. This is probably, I'm almost positive, and I'm 100% positive because B.Dot said he hasn't talking to bro since then. I'm positive B.Dot, if he watches this is his first time realizing what's going on in real time. I'm going to pull it back a little bit. Elliot basically is alluding to, hey, man, we agreed upon some things. We being Elliot, his team, his legal representation, and the company that they were doing the deal with, or supposed to be doing the deal with. They agreed upon some things before paperwork and the ink was on there, you know, the black and whites. And what they agreed upon is not being reflected in the contract. They said, yo, you're supposed to get A, B, C, but the contract is showing we getting D, E, F. It's like, yo, bro, come on, let's get this right. Y'all said I'm supposed to get A, B, C. I don't want the D, E, F. Go ahead and put that ABC in there for me.
But it was more about that and that communication. So looking back at it, I feel there may have been even some resistance within that company where some people were on board with the deal and some people probably weren't. But I still take responsibility on my end because I did command my side to say, you know what, let's just get it done. Let's get it signed. We'll work through the kinks. And they were hesitant because they felt confident that they could get it to what it needed to be to reflect how they felt it should be. And with that dragging, things just got delayed, and then we started not getting clear answers. Then when we finally spoke to the owner of the company, that was a call with me, B.Dot, and the owner. He said, I can't do the deal anymore because it dragged a little too long, and I had to allocate the funds these other places, and let's revisit the top of next year, and that's where the deal fell through. So me and B.Dot were both informed at the same time that the deal was officially not going to happen.
And then when they said we were going to revisit at the top of next year, did you and B.Dot kind of end that conversation like, okay, that's the plan, let's revisit at the top of next year?
No, that's when the communication ceased between me and him.
But so I guess what was the final convo? Like, did you guys say, all right, like let's
you just
or
saw
that
the
was
final
it?
convo.
Like it was
on the Joe Budden Network, you saw the final convo. There was no communication since then on either end. And
Oh, damn. B.Dot was definitely tight. He was heated. He said, this bitch ass nigga, man. This bitch ass nigga fucking ruined this deal for me. And B.Dot jokingly said, hey, man, this money was spent in my head already. So if you got money spent in your head, you probably telling your family, yeah, we about to sign this deal. We gonna do this, baby. We gonna do this. And then it falls through. You gonna be upset, but it's like, they did say we could revisit, but B.Dot was probably like, man, I can't be connected to another nigga no more, which I agree with. Never put your faith in another nigga's hands, another man's hands, bro, because you see shit like this happen, bro. Like, yo, I can only get this bag if I'm attached to this guy. Man, fuck that, bro. Like, hell no. That is not a way as a man to live, bro. If you know what I mean, you could collab and shit could work. But if you dependent, like if this is your only way, and if this nigga ain't got his shit together, bro, you're done. It's GG's.
I just assumed he's like not feeling that it didn't go down, is frustrated by it, and we'll probably talk again, or, you know, I'm in the West Coast. And DJ Head hasn't spoken yet. I wanted to ask your opinion about something, but I would love to get the thoughts, views, and opinions of DJ Head. That's why hogging the mic here.
All right, I don't give a fuck about what that nigga got to say. Hey, man, I'm rolling with both B.Dot and Elliot. I'm glad we got both sides of this story. We could kind of put this shit to bed. Deal fell through. They were on the line at the same time when the deal fell through. B.Dot probably took that as an opportunity to be like, yo, man, I ain't talking to this nigga no more. Fuck this nigga, man. And that's what it was. It is what it was, bro.